afternoon. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Sherry Bissett, and my name sign is CB. And I would like to know, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is LaDonna, and my name sign
Well,
is
it's really
an
nice
L
to
on the
meet
side of
you.
my cheek.
I understand that you are here to apply for the position as an ASL teacher, and I wanted to let you know this is a full-time position with benefits, and it will be a 9-month contract. Basically, what will happen is you'll teach 4 classes per semester. There'll be fall and spring, 2 semesters. The courses that we're going to ask to be taught are ASL 1, 2, 3, 4, Deaf Culture, and then ASL Linguistics. So I'm going to ask some questions for you to respond to. Just take
I
your
see.
time. And if you can't answer, you're welcome to hold your answer till the very end of the interview. If you're not sure what I'm asking and you need some clarification, just let me know. So are you ready to begin?
Sure, let's proceed.
Okay. Can you tell me why you've selected teaching as a profession?
A lot of my skills are from teaching. I went to Gallaudet University, and I've been under the tutelage of many great instructors there. I took some ECE classes and recognized that probably wouldn't be good for me. I took some fingerspelling classes as well, and absolutely fell in love with it. I was enamored with fingerspelling. I began teaching or learning more and more from these great instructors, linguistics, etc., and had always had a desire from there on, as a dream, as to hopefully be able to teach one day.
Well, can you tell me what makes you an effective ASL teacher?
Well, sure. But because I am deaf and I'm from the deaf community, I can teach it more effectively than maybe a hearing person would. And ASL is my first language, and it's my goal is to teach these
That's
students.
awesome. Well, what courses have you taught already previously as an ASL teacher?
I've taught ASL 1 through 4, and I've also taught some universal sign language classes. I've taught ASL 1 through 6 as well, and ASL 3 and 4. So I would teach some classes, ASL, like I said, 1 through 6 and 3 through 4.
That sounds great. What's your most successful accomplishment as an ASL teacher?
Looking over the course of my teaching career, I look at, learning and some new things and kind of feeling uncomfortable. I feel that one of the most successful things is teaching kids, students, or adults through games. A lot of times when you're up there presenting in a college course or what have you, people see it visually, but when they get their hands on it through a game, I see it really taking off and it's sticking. I set things up like that in all my classes. Now, I have some very strict guidelines for the first couple weeks that I tell the people in the classroom that they must keep their voice off and they also must keep the door closed. If they want to get better at what they're coming to school for, coming to class for, they must go out in the deaf community as well to learn from those who are native users. Also, practicing at home for, you know, every day is very important. That's what I mean by strict. Also, there's something that I do is I'll draw pictures of what I'm talking about as opposed to being in English, because English is a linear language. ASL is more likened more to a rendering of a three-dimensional drawing.
That sounds terrific. I can see why that would be successful too. If a student said that they thought, now just imagine, you were the worst teacher that they'd ever had, how would you react and what would you say to them?
Now, I would ask maybe, what is it that you're not comfortable with? Are you frustrated about something? Is it because I've got a lack of communication, that there was a communication breakdown? I prefer to have a one-on-one talk and to see exactly what it is, and maybe we can proceed from there. I don't believe in that anger will solve anything. That's my outlook anyway.
Sounds like a good way to handle it. Can you tell me which book you prefer to use in your classroom?
ABCs of ASL is one that I use. Signing Naturally is another. I noticed that both of those can overlap, and I'll tend to use either one of those. I love the Vista products, especially the blue and the yellow and pink. Those are what I really are my go-to products for my ASL classes. And there's products that come with it that will assist the students as well.
Those sound like some great resources. I'm familiar with those myself. Can you tell me how you would feel if a student doesn't meet a deadline?
Well, if a student is late, at first I would give them a warning for the first time, but the second infraction I would have to tell them that you need to accept the responsibility and put forth the best effort. Now, if it's a perpetual problem, I would need to just sit down and discuss the issue with why they're not on time and help them as students to learn that the projects need to be in, or the research, what have you. They understand that me as a teacher, I've got deadlines as well, and that would be my goals, hopefully, to encourage them through those avenues.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to handle it. I would say the same. If a student uses their voice in your classroom, now remember you've told me that his voice is off for a portion of that. What is the best approach for you to do that, to see that that happens? That it does not happen. I apologize.
Well, I know that students will use their voices and on occasion, but I really will warn them, and I was say I apologize. I asked them to please turn off their voices, and I would warn them. And after the third, I would tell them to throw their voice in the trash can. And if they would continue to be stubborn about it, I would say, you can leave. And it helps people wake up. I don't really feel I ever need to do that, but there's been, occasion that it helps people once you tell them that, and they recognize that you mean business. In order for that to happen, in order for learning to occur, voicing needs to be turned off. I say that voicing is not permitted. You can draw, but if you want to show inflection, it's a parallel to that is the facial grammar on the face, and it helps people that are hearing understand why deaf people use their faces so much. It gives clarity to the class.
Well, I can see where that would be an effective way to get them to understand. That's terrific. What is the most frustrating thing that has happened to you yourself as an ESL teacher?
I think for me, it's most frustrating is that hearing people would want to speak fast, but they also want to fingerspell. They need to understand that as interpreter error, people don't sign fast right off the bat. It's a process of learning, and to get people to understand that it makes it difficult for hearing people to understand, and it takes time. And in order for their skills to evolve, they must go through that process of learning that it takes a while to put on your ASL cap.
Thank you for coming in today. I really enjoyed visiting with you. I do have your resume and all of your information, and I really would like to visit with you as a second interview. So I'm going to ask my secretary if she wouldn't mind scheduling that with you as you leave today. But I want to thank you so much for coming in. I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to talking to you again in the near future.
Wonderful. It was nice meeting
And
you
nice
as well.
to meet you too.